Oh my gosh. Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you? There was going to be a key factor here that you were going to notice that nobody else is going to pay attention to. A very key factor. And that key factor is who and what? Rich Paul. The longer he talked, the more ignorant he's going to sound. I told you this. Y'all didn't believe me, but I bet you believe it now. Well, it's like this, good people. I don't know what's going on here with this signal, but Rich Paul decided to address Michael Jordan. He's trying to defend and protect LeBron James, but while trying to protect LeBron James, he makes a critical error in trying to judge Michael Jordan's catalog. This is a guy who you ran up on in awe. You ran up on Michael Jordan in awe. You looked at Michael Jordan and was like, it's Mike. Like a little bitty schoolgirl. That's what you did. Rich Paul. You ran up on Michael Jordan. Look how LeBron was looking at you. You think he peeped all that. You ran up to Mike. And Mike is like, let me tell your little ass so. He putting you on game. You wish you had Michael Jordan. And look how he looked at you. I'll guarantee you, LeBron James had a conversation with you about how you just ran up on Michael Jordan. Oh, that's pathetic. I can tell you flat out that is pathetic. But I expect this from Rich Paul because this is what he is. The longer he talks, this is why he didn't used to do interviews, because the longer he talked, the more crazier it sounded. Every time he opened his mouth, it got more and more crazy. Every word that uttered and came out of his mouth was more contentment. So I said, oh, yeah, it's clear. There's a major problem here. There's a major disconnect. Right? So you start to see there's a major disconnect for what's going on here. So of course. So now he's going through the vices of what's going on. Like he's paying the price for his decisions and actions. So I decided to come and give you guys a what's up. Because they were never going to give you an update or a notification on what's happening there. So that's why I'm glad the majority of you have the Patreon. So we don't have to go through this problem. Ever in life. So Michael Jordan and Rich Paul have become like WWE tag team. They could do no wrong. That was his first time really being in the presence of Michael Jordan. Like Rich Paul was like, I'm just gonna take advantage of every moment because that's who he idolized. He didn't idolize LeBron James. He was just trying to sell him a jersey. He was a rookie. Jordan is who he grew up idolizing. That was his Mount Rushmore. Now he's forced to push this narrative about LeBron, and everybody always bring up the Jordan shoes and be like, what do LeBron got? So, of course, if you Rich Paul, you automatically know what time it is. You got to try to talk down to his whole thing and go from there. Oh, yeah. That's the angle of Rich Paul. Deception, cruelty, lies, and you're going to find out how not bright he truly is. Oh, yeah, 100%. Now, hold on just a moment here. I'm just taking care of a few things so that the rest of the world, woo, okay. I want the rest of the world to be able to see this. There's so many different things that Rich Paul does as far as, you know, he's basically with Adele. The people who know him, you know, and he's this big guy in the world because he's next to LeBron James. We're going to get into all of this. I'm just making sure because the notifications didn't really go out. So he said he's mad he's got to wear those colors. Pretty much. But we're going to get to that after the intro. Hi, I'm Karceno. Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No one knows Karceno and none of these.
There's so much going on in the world, and I'm just giving my 2 cents on it. Go in and do a raid at someone's house, but you don't have an arrest warrant for them. Okay, now that we're back, let's listen to what Rich Paul actually said, because this is where it's going to get off the rails.
Back to North Carolina, etc.
Right.
He comes to Carolina
with the powder blue. Yeah.
It was only, by the way, back then it was only 3 colorways, and so if you bought a pair of shoes. But here's the other thing. People didn't buy MJs because they wanted to be just like Michael Jordan. That was half of the people, half of the consumers. You know what the other half was? They wanted to be like Max, who had the BMW and the cute girl that had on Michael Jordan.
Sure.
So now,
the influencers.
if you get both of those consumers, you have the entire market share.
That's interesting.
Because
so you have to have the elite athlete that's different than
excellent.
So what he's saying is the street guy who's got the money with the BMW, he's got on the Jordans and he got the big chain on, and they want to be like him. They want to wear the shoes because the drug dealer got the shoes. Rich Paul. I don't know. How old is Rich Paul? Let me see how old Rich is. Because he's so mistaken. But let's see how old Rich is. Somebody said he's 40. Let me see. He's 45. Rich Paul is 45 years of age. He's older than LeBron James. So Rich is 45. So he would have probably been, I would say, in kindergarten. He would have had to probably be in kindergarten when Jordan started his career. He would have had to been probably in kindergarten when Michael Jordan said, I'm about to start playing basketball in the NBA. So, and he's 45. That's how long it's been since Michael Jordan has played. Now, I'm going to take it even further than that. Yeah, we're going to go back further. Now, here's why it's going back further, people. Because Rich Paul and all of the things that he's been doing lately, I think it needs to be addressed in epic proportion. Did he need to go watch the movie Air? And that life is a lot bigger and worldwide appeal is a lot bigger. Okay? It's a lot bigger than the drug dealer in the hood, Rich. Jordan came in the league in 1984, Rich. 1984 wasn't a lot of big time drug dealers who were black in the hood rolling around with the BMWs with Jordans on. Okay? From the moment he was a rookie, he came into the league with his own shoe. And by 1985, those shoes were the most popular shoes and hard to get. I am from the city of Chicago. This is where the first Jordans hit. And it was a worldwide appeal within a week of the commercial. People wanted to wear Air Jordans because of Air Jordan, because of what he was doing on the court. It was so popular, they had the knockoff version called Stadiums. They knocked off the Jordans. I don't even know if anybody would knock off any LeBrons. In 1984 or 85, the Stadiums they were bootlegging, almost having the same design as the Jordans. So if you had Stadiums on, they would check you. Oh, Nike was fighting with them countlessly over that. The drug dealer was wearing it because everybody wanted the Jordans and couldn't get them. Did I own stadiums? Yep. I had a pair of stadiums. My mom wasn't spending that kind of money on those Jordans. There was a big controversy at the time because Magic Johnson and Larry Bird had the most expensive shoe, $50. They were charging $59.99 for a pair of gym shoes called Weapons. You had to have your weapons, Magic and Bird, the weapons. So the weapon shoes were getting all this attention. And then Jordan shoes come out and they were like, man, nobody gonna pay. This is insane, paying $59 for some gym shoes. That's insane. Big controversy. Now, we lived this. So we knew exactly what was going on. So people couldn't get the Jordans. Just like now, they were sold out. You had to wait. So people were even just buying stadiums and trying to wear their pants over the logo so people would think they were Jordans. Yeah, that's cheap in today's time. Back then, it was a massive discussion. Or is the gym shoes becoming too expensive? And this was $59. The year is 1985, ladies and gentlemen. So, Rich Paul, when you talking about the drug dealer, you probably on Jordan number 7 about time you start noticing the drug dealers wearing them. You don't like the Jordan. They already up and rolling, Rich. Michael Jordans were popular the moment they came out. Now, granted, I know what he's trying to say, but Rich Paul is thinking on a low level because, and this is what's very shocking, this is what I'm trying to tell you, he tells on himself he's not bright. Rich Paul isn't bright, he's a hustler. So he has a hustler's mentality to it. He grew up admiring the hustlers with the Jordans on. He grew up looking at the dude with the chain and the BMWs. So he applied that stereotype to every single human being in the hood. Man, we saw the guy with the Jordans on, man, with the BMW, so we wanted to be like him. Yes, because you knew your little 5'2" ass could never be Mike. So yes, for you, you want to be like the drug dealer. You wanted to be like him in the hood. That was you. But everybody else in the world know better. Your little midget ass want to be, you ain't want to be like Mike. They got to lower the rim for you. You can't be like Mike. In no way, shape, or form. So drug dealing was the best avenue that you was ever going to do. So for you to admire the hustlers, they were big time hustlers in 85. Not really. And they weren't, if they were big time hustling, they weren't wearing Jordans. Trust me, the drug dealers wasn't rocking like that. And it wasn't no real big time drug dealers like that in the city. Not like that, bro. They were low level, low tier in the early 80s. Like you had to hide smoking weed back then. They used to roll it up in tops and call it a joint. You're smoking reefer? It was reefer. No, I wasn't. I was smoking a cigarette. What's that smell? Is that reefer? Oh my God, you're a drug addict. That's how it was back then. And then Nancy Reagan had that later on. She had the DARE program. All right. So Rich ain't going nowhere. Rich admired the hustlers. Rich admired that lifestyle. Rich Paul saw that as the come up. Rich Paul saw that as, man, the end all be all of everything for him. That's what Rich saw. His eyes lit up like a Christmas tree when he saw Mike. He thinking about shoes. And LeBron looking like a sucker in the background, noticing it. Man, look how Rich looking up there at Mike. And Mike probably tell him, hey, man, I hear the bullshit you be talking about my shoes. You realize I'm the reason people buying them shoes. If I ain't doing what I'm doing on that court, them shoes ain't selling. That's why nobody buying his bum ass shoes. Nobody want to see no dude running over people because he ain't got no damn moves and he playing the wrong sport. He's supposed to be in football. Damn football player on the basketball court, pretending to be a basketball player. Right, that's what I'm saying. Black folks made that work. The company was never called Nike. The company in the pronunciation of the word is Nike. It's the Nike organization. And if you had a pair of shoes, then you had a pair of Nikes. We, black people, not the drug dealers, black people change the terms of how it is pronounced. Black people weren't saying Nikes. We said Nike. And you know what they said? You know what a whole corporation was saying? If them black people who buying the shoes want to call it Nike, that's exactly what this company name is going to be called. If they say it's Nike, they're like, I tried to correct them and tell them it's Nike. It's Nikes. You got your Nikes on. No. You wearing some Nikes. Nike, that doesn't even make sense to whatever they say. That was the smartest thing the owner of Nike, Phil Knight, ever did, is say, they're buying the shoes, they can call it whatever the way they want to call it. Damn right, we're Nike. We are Nike. They say it's Nike, that is the pronunciation of this company. We are Nike. And see, Rich Paul, that didn't come from drug dealers. That came from black people. We made that work. We made the whole world decide to mispronounce the words. Now, there isn't a person around this globe that don't call it Nike. Hey, what's up? Oh, hugs and kisses back to you. Now, the reason why Rich is so wrong is this is why I told you the longer he speaks, the more you can hear he doesn't know what he's talking about. This guy is delusional as anybody I've ever seen and heard in my life.
By the way, back then it was only 3 colorways. And so if you bought a pair of shoes, but here's the other thing. People didn't buy MJs because they wanted to be just like Michael Jordan. That was half of the people, half of the consumers. You know what the other half was? They wanted to be like Max, who had the BMW and the cute girl that had on Michael Jordan.
Sure.
So now,
the influencers.
if you get both of those consumers,
yeah,
you have the entire market share.
That's interesting.
Because
it's not interesting. It's low level and foolish. Do you know why people wore the Jordans? Because it was popular. That's like saying people in the hood want Louis because the guy in the neighborhood wore Louis Vuitton. The guy in the neighborhood is wearing Louis Vuitton because one of the rappers is wearing Louis Vuitton in the rap video. The guy wearing the Pelly coat because he saw little NBA young boy wear a Pelly coat in a video. Somebody of stature is wearing it, so they want to acquire it so that you remind them of, hey, look, he's wearing the thing that the other hip-hop artists had, and we can't afford it. They buy it because of the expensiveness of it and saying, basically taunting you with what they have that you can't acquire. So you want to strive to be like them, or you want to get it too, but it didn't come from them. So that's what he's trying to say. He's just thinking on a lower tier because in his mind, that's where his brain goes. He's a hustler. So he idolizes other hustlers. So he thinks 50% of all Michael Jordan followers are hustlers. They wanted to get it from him. No, they wanted to have the shoes so that they would be popular too, including the hustler with the BMW and the beautiful girl. He wants to be popular. So that's why he has the BMW. That's why he has these things, so people would look at that and be idolized by it. But he's not controlling the narrative. He's making himself look foolish and embarrassing LeBron. Because they bring up the shoes and he keeps trying to put LeBron next to Michael Jordan. You can't. That's like saying Mars is right next to Earth. And you go like, well, how many miles away? About a couple of million of miles away. But it's the next planet over. It's not close. But shoot, it's almost, to me, it's like Earth and Pluto. Earth to Pluto. That's about how far LeBron James is from Michael Jordan. It's like Earth to Pluto. No, I couldn't even tell you what a pair of LeBrons look like. You could look at somebody and tell they wearing Jordan. You look at the shoes and be like, oh, them Jordans. When can you look at a pair of shoes and be like, oh, those LeBrons? I can't think of anybody that doing that. To be honest, I can't picture anyone doing that. Not in my day, my lifetime. I've never seen anyone look at a pair of Michael Jordans and go, I don't know what those are. That's because when you have a narrative that don't line up with your usual belief, then you stuck in a whole new dynamic of, is this real or isn't it real? I don't know. No. LeBron been playing for 20 years. You don't think his shoes are throwbacks? They throwaways to me. Throw it in the trash because they not worth the paper they printed on. But I told you, this is what Rich Paul is. This is who he is. This is how he addresses situations. He think he's going to control a narrative. He can't control what's going on now. His takes have been that bad that everybody that's around him look at him like he's crazy. Oh, no. He has said so many egregious things, and I told you, you're going to just wait. You're going to hear him make more ridiculous takes trying to defend Michael Jordan. It's not even Jordan. He's trying to tear down Michael Jordan to boost up LeBron because that's what he's paid to do. But it's so forced. You can hear it in his conversations. But it's not just Michael Jordan is what he's doing. He's actually making himself look awful by the fact that every other take, like him speaking on Austin Reeves' contract, or what he should actually be doing. He should come off the bench. Things an agent shouldn't be saying. So it's like, why are you an agent doing a podcast show? That makes no sense. So the more you hear these crazy takes and ideas and ideals that's going on, the more you start to get disgusted. This is a man that says, I'm not perfect. I'm under construction. I kid you not.
That energy ain't there with no player that I represent, not one. Not LeBron, not AD, not Darius Garland, not De'Aaron Fox, not Fred VanVleet, Zach LaVine, Lonzo Ball. None of them. The young guys coming in, none of them. Miles Bridges, none of them, right? And I'm standing there with them. And everyone's not for us. And they're not going to be for us, because when it gets to those type of conversations, that's who you really know who's for you. And if you can have that conversation and then you snap right back into it like it was nothing, then we move on. And you know what they can do to me? The same thing. I'm not perfect. We all under construction. I'm not perfect at all. So having that, and you guys, when you
I'm not perfect at all. Who in the hell thought you were? I'm not perfect at all. I'm under construction. I told you, man, Rich Paul is the gift that's going to keep on giving. Yeah, the NBA wouldn't approve Larry Bird's shoe was black because they couldn't approve the and the Lakers wasn't, Red Auerbach wasn't going to pay a fine for them to wear some green shoes, green and whites. So, and I'm like, this is Larry Bird. They would have did that. So the Celtics wore black shoes. They wore Larry Bird's weapons. Magic had the Lakers colors, and they didn't care about paying a fine. That's wrong, Jersey, yeah. Drug dealers definitely did not make Adidas popular. Adidas became popular by basketball players. And it took off because they had the shell toes, you had the Chuck Taylors, you had like the Chucks back in the neighborhood. People was wearing the Chuck Taylors because they had them in navy blue and it went with their game colors. But they didn't make those popular. Those was in LA. But what made Adidas really jump off the map is when Run DMC put on Adidas. And once they started rocking Adidas and took the sales to a whole nother chart, they didn't even have an Adidas deal when they made the song. My Adidas. They didn't get a deal till after that. They saw that Madison Square Garden when Ron grabbed the microphone and said, I beg your MF, I beg your pardon, but this is my MF and God. Anybody who wearing a pair of Adidas right now, take your shoes off. Take a shoe off and put it in the air. Everybody took off one pair of their shoes and held it in the air. The Adidas rep saw that and made them a deal. ASAP. On the spot. So that's when it went popular. They were trying to get people and athletes to sell shoes. Adidas was one of the top shoe sellers out there. And you talking to a guy who wore nothing but Adidas for like 4 years straight. Me. And I made it super popular in the neighborhoods and everything I went through. But that's local. That's not a global thing. You think I got an Adidas deal? No. I had local people, wherever I went locally, people be, man, that Adidas suit, I've never seen that. But when you are a professional athlete, you take it global. But this is what I mean by the level of thinking from Rich Paul. It's low level, it's low tier. He thinks like a hustler. They think of the next hustle and to get to this point, and they think small time. And that's why it's amazing that people have a guy like this represent them as an agent, and they wonder why they don't have white clients. They only have people that come from the hood that know LeBron and want to sign with them because, oh man, that's the guy he's LeBron agent, Rich Paul. Man, so LeBron doing all this, I know he can get me this deal, but he's not negotiating and getting LeBron James any deals. But they called him a mastermind. LeBron planted him there. This dude ran into LeBron at the airport to sell him some jerseys. And now he's a sports agent. Man, get this up. I'll be like, man, get this fool out of here. I can see if he went to school to learn to be an agent. He didn't even go to school. I knew it was a sham. And when the white guy came out and sued him, said, hey, man, you ain't paying me my money because I'm the one that was negotiating these contracts, I already knew. I don't need no college. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You're helping young men and guiding them, and they're trusting you with their lives. These 19-year-old kids are coming into the NBA, and they're looking for somebody they can trust, and they think, hey, this guy's the same complexion as me. He come from where I come from. I think this guy can help me. And you're only there to help LeBron, not them. So you're not thinking best intentions of them. You're thinking, what's the best intentions for LeBron? You didn't want to move a player to the Clippers because the Clippers are going up against LeBron, and LeBron got to be the king of LA, and this is going to make the Clippers better. And the Clippers offered the most money for the guy, but you want to move him to the Knicks so he could be on the East Coast because LeBron on the West. You're not representing me. You're representing LeBron. All that guy wanted was his $4 million, and y'all didn't want to pay him. Then you went to arbitration and settled with him after saying y'all didn't do it and that the guy is wrong and people suing for no reason. No. You're just a con man, a hustler. You've been conning the people for years. I've never thought of anything but Rich Paul, but what he's doing right now. I thought of Rich Paul, and I think about this, and I said, yeah, Norrell is Norrell. Rich Paul has never negotiated a LeBron James contract. That is facts. He was in the room while the white guy was doing all the work, and he's just sitting there watching how the pitch is going down and how the negotiation. No one had any negotiations with Rich Paul. Now,
5 shooting
I want
guards
you to
in the NBA. Very
listen to Rich Paul, and this is when people get drunk off their own Kool-Aid, as they would say in the hood, when their ego is unchecked. Listen
I'm
to
not watching the same game you're watching.
He's not
Best
watching
two guards in the NBA.
See, you keep throwing these weird words. Best, like
That's weird.
yeah.
What?
From the fans' point of view, why do I care about who wins the cup? Because, so, like, think about how pathetic that is. That's the type of thing the Clippers would do. Like, I used to make fun of them on LA radio.
No, Max, this is a non-bashing NBA show.
Rich Paul is something else. I was trying to watch his podcast with Max Kellerman, and this dude is killing me. His first question, he was asked to name the top 5 shooting guards in the NBA. Very simple. But just look at this.
When I'm watching a basketball game, I'm not watching the same game you're watching. See, you keep throwing these weird words. Best, like
That's weird.
yeah, because now when you ask me these questions about top 5, I don't really love top 5, just like I don't really love analytics, because if you talk about analytics, okay, well, what's the analytic when you're down 1, he's wide open, you don't have enough of those moments analytically give me a consistency in your evaluation.
But
yeah, Desmond's there.
So he's a top 6'7" two guard in the league.
I guess, whatever
Fine.
you want to call it.
He did everything but answer the question. Instead, he spoke about how smart he is and how great he is at analyzing the game and why he thinks differently than most people. Like, dude, get over yourself. Then he did a deep dive on what a shooting guard actually is, since Max had the audacity to point out that positions don't matter anymore.
He's not a 2.
Mikal Bridges isn't a 2?
No.
You tell him a 3?
Yes, he's a wing.
Is Jaylen Brown a 2?
No.
Is Jalen Williams a 2?
No.
But the difference between a 2 and a 3 has always been nebulous in the NBA.
No, the difference.
What's Jaylen Brown?
The difference between a 2 and a 3 has always been shooting.
All right.
That's why the 2 guard is called a shooting guard.
Yes, science.
Jaylen Brown. What's Jaylen Brown? Come on. But the 3s can shoot now.
In his mind, it's clear cut. You're either a 2 or you're not. A 2 provides specific skills like shooting, and positions matter. Rich Paul made sure to lecture Max about that point. But then look what he says about Tyrese Maxey.
Is Maxey a 2 guard?
Maxey's a player.
Bro, really?
Maxey's a player.
Yeah, he's too
That's
much
half
of a
Mr. Bias
yeah,
hat.
No.
But that's also,
I agree. He's a
can't-
combo backcourt player.
He's a basketball player.
Yeah.
Now it doesn't matter. Tyrese Maxey is a basketball player. Who cares? We don't need specifics. He's not limited by a position. And by the way, I agree with that. But why couldn't you just name the 5 best players you consider shooting guards, give your reason, and move on?
because he doesn't know the game. I told you, Rich Paul, this show was the best thing that could ever happen. That's why I said this is the best thing. Y'all finna get a treat. Because everything I told y'all about Rich Paul is coming true. Everything. Y'all get to see it now. This fool ego that made him get on the camera and do an interview. This is why they never used to interview Rich Paul. It would only be in a magazine. Because he's so dumb. And the more he talks, the stupider he sounds. He just said Mac's argument was that it's positionless basketball now. There is no real shooting guard, two guard. That was the point that they were having in the conversation. He's saying, no, a two guard is a guy. He's the shooting guard. That's why it says shooting, because he can shoot. So he is a shooting guard. Then they said, okay, what about Tyrese Maxey? Is he a shooting guard? Is he a point guard? Is he a shooting guard? Oh, he's a player. So you right back to the point that Max Kellerman was making. It is positionless. This is the point he was trying to make, Rich Paul. This is what I'm talking about. This guy here, and Max is one of the smartest guys in the world. So for him, it's the smart guy and the stupid guy having a conversation. This is going to be classic because this man is so full of himself. And he's full of himself. Like, he's really confident. He's a confident fool. So it's only going to be great entertainment. You're going to have every take in the world that you're going to be so excited to hear every word that come out of his mouth. Because you know it's going to be something real stupid, and Max just making him look more and more dumb every week. And it's only going to get worse. Watch, he going to say something else stupid. This thing about the Jordan line was crazy because that's just how he saw it. He saw the drug dealer coming out the car with the girls and and he wanted to be like the drug dealer because he knew that was his aspirations. He could be that. I could get to be the drug dealer. I could get that BMW, have on some Jordans. Because that's all he ever was going to be, was a little hustler, little street hustler. That's all he is. Now he done brought his hustle to the NBA. He didn't trick the Dale, trying to trick her out of money. I love your fat ass. Come here. So now he over there, baby fingers, is over there hugging up on her. I love the way you grab my bum. Asking him for advice on singing. What advice? How you gonna advise Adele? Like Adele, like I could be Adele's advisor. She don't need an advisor. What's she gonna say? How did you like the way I was singing here? We used to have it all. Rolling in the deep. Oh, babe, you missed that third note. I would take it up another octave. What is he gonna do for Adele? What is he gonna do for Adele? She can put him in her pocket. Shoot, she might dip him in some gravy and bite him. So he better be careful. You stand too close to some gravy, she might pour it on your arm and bite a chunk out you, boy.
And see, Rich hates pointing out the best players in the league. He calls it weird, since players are limited by their role and opportunities.
You keep throwing these weird words, best. Like,
That's weird.
yeah, Austin Reeves can only do what his opportunity is awarding him to do. Is Austin Reeves taking full advantage of his opportunity? The answer would be yes. Not only is he living up to whatever, he's overachieved. He's done more than anybody would ever imagine he would possibly do.
I'm done.
Rich Paul likes to say the most basic things, but act like he said something so profound. Like, who doesn't know that roles and opportunities affect player performance? Everyone knows that. That's why the best player isn't just the one with the best stats or games won. Everyone knows this. But then look what he says about the Knicks.
If you look at the Knicks roster, this is the best starting five of my lifetime on the Knicks.
What?
On
the
this
best
team,
starting five of your lifetime?
on the Knicks.
What year
the
were you
best
born?
73.
What year was Clyde Frazier?
That was, okay, fine. Of my conscious lifetime, all right? My point is,
I mean,
the
I'm sure we
Knicks
can go
starting
past
five that
but-
got to the finals was Patrick Ewing. The second best player was probably Charles Oakley. So you had like one all NBA
The
2 or
second
3
best
team.
player was Charles Oakley on that
Probably on
team?
the
Oh, so it's not weird anymore. He has strong opinions about the best Knicks starting five, which is ranking players, and he strongly disagrees that Charles Oakley was the second best player on Patrick Ewing's Knicks. Again, rank.
Now, you see what just happened there, right? And you see how that guy just called it just like anybody else would call it. First, he said best is a weird word. That's just weird. Best. And now, here we are again. He was like, you think the second best player was Charles Oakley? Yeah, that is insane. Oakley wasn't the second best player. It would be Starks. It would be John Starks and Patrick Ewing. And to say this Knicks team is the best team he's ever seen on the court is atrocious. He said, I came into some bulls. He's like, I didn't know best was a weird word. If you're Rich Paul, it is, because he definitely don't know anything about the best. Best is weird because Michael Jordan's ahead of LeBron. So he want to eliminate best altogether. Oh, no, we got to get rid of the word best.
Ranking players. What happened to the nuance? I thought we couldn't do that because it's weird. Up until someone mentions Charles Oakley, then it's okay to debate, guys. We have permission from the great Rich Paul. I guess when you're too old to be a Klutch client, Rich Paul is allowed to give his opinion. Pointing out the best players is recognizing the talent in the league. It's not about putting players down. And criticism is okay if it's warranted. He also said the best players are always on the U.S. Olympic team.
I know you're saying horses
best,
for courses.
When you say best, the best two guards is on the Olympic team. Norman Powell's not on the Olympic team. Talk about the best. If you talk about the best, we take the best two guards to go win the gold.
World champion of what? The United States?
Who was on the Olympic team?
No, they're not. They're not all from the U.S. And most of the best players stay home in the offseason. Rich Paul also hijacked the pod to defend himself over Tristan Thompson's ridiculous contract.
You don't have to necessarily score 25 to be paid at the level of a 25-point scorer. You know how I know this? I did it. Tristan Thompson.
Right.
You wouldn't have said Tristan Thompson was at the same level of the top bigs in the league, but he got paid because of what he embraced his role.
Well, people would argue he got paid because LeBron James gave him leverage.
But that's bullshit.
Thank you.
That's a cop-out. And people want to say that to discredit me, first and foremost.
No, I think they're giving you.
To discredit you. Tristan Thompson got signed in Cleveland to a deal they didn't even want to sign him to, and LeBron James wasn't the reason. It was Rich Paul. You didn't even negotiate the deal. You never negotiated a contract. They're a Cleveland owner. They never had a back and forth with you. No general manager ever had a negotiation with Rich Paul. He didn't negotiate anything because, one, he does not have a legal degree, so he's not a lawyer. Most agents have law degrees, a degree in law, because you have to have some legal presence to be there because this is a legal contract, so lawyers have to look over the contract. You have to have somebody there of legal presence. That's why most agents say, I can look over this and I can sign off on it. So the guys who was negotiating all of the deals, you didn't want to pay him, just like a hustler. And you owed that man $4 million and had to pay him. Him and his wife his wife was an agent too. She was a legal sports agent and had her law degree, both of them. Tremendous. Yeah, he was from Cleveland. Yep, Mark Tremendous. And Rich Paul had to pay him. They wanted to do it quiet. Yeah, he was the man. This man then wrote books about how to do the negotiations. Rich Paul would be in the room. never negotiated any of LeBron's contracts. He did it. They negotiated with Mark Tremaine. Every agent will tell you they negotiated with Mark. That white guy negotiated all the deals. Tristan Thompson, all of the deals at Klutch Sports was done by Mark Tremaine at that time. He signed off on all those deals. He negotiated all LeBron's contracts, not Rich Paul. So yeah, who was doing something because of you? That's why you signed with UTA, right? So now you lost him and you signed with UTA, so they got legal agents that could come there and negotiate the deals for you because you're too stupid. Dope boys didn't make them popular. They wore Jordans to make themselves popular. Michael Jordan don't need a drug dealer to wear his shoes. See, that's local. The local guy don't know the drug dealers. I mean, outside world don't know the drug dealers in your hood. That's low level. Jordans are global. Global. Okay? The person in Bartlow, France don't know about Sea Dog Killer, from Akron. And they saw Sea Dog Killer wearing some Jordans. This is just his mentality because he thinks low level. Jordans was popular from day one. Day one. Day one. The most requested shoe on the galaxy was Air Jordans. Day one. People couldn't even get them. So Stadium made a whole bunch of money because they underestimated how popular the shoe was going to be. So they had to go right back into mass production and get some more Jordans out on the street. They were sold out. They were like, we sold them many already. We got to go through mass production of these Jordans. Get them out now. Stores couldn't keep them in. And the way Jordan was playing, he lit the NBA on fire. Took it to $1 billion league. They were a $100 million business, turned into $1 billion business. He brought Nike in to the NBA. He brought Gatorade. No more Coca-Cola. We got Gatorade. McDonald's. Chevrolet. He brought all of these sponsorship deals into the league. The league was broke. Jordan had all the money. He almost had more money than the league. He only made $2.2 million a year for the NBA salary. That was his salary. Jordan was getting $2.2 million. And that was considered a high salary at the time. $2.2 million. And would make $40 million a year off Jordans. And he was getting robbed. Because he only had equity in the shoe. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, tell me about it. But that's Rich Paul's delusion.
You credit, actually.
No. You're not giving me credit with that. That's false.
They're saying you're using clients to leverage other.
No.
Remember, this is a debate about the best shooting guards.
Why are you the way that you are?
Look, everyone knows Tristan got that contract from LeBron's leverage. He got the same deal as Draymond Green at the time with nowhere near the production. Draymond rebounded, defended, and did everything as good as Tristan, as well as handle the ball, play make, and average double the points. He also had more steals and block shots. There's a reason Draymond Green is an all-star who nearly won Finals MVP in 2016. Tristan Thompson, in his dreams, isn't as good as Draymond. Rich Paul is actually doing himself a disservice by saying Tristan earned his contract and that he did nothing. Look, there's no other way to say it. Rich Paul is killing this podcast. He tries to dictate the conversation and has limits on what Max is allowed to say.
Max, this is a non-bashing NBA show.
Well, I'm not bashing the NBA. I'm bashing the
You're
Clippers.
bashing the cup. The Clippers are the NBA.
He is constantly talking about himself and how he's vastly superior to the audience.
When I'm watching a basketball game, I'm not watching the same game you're watching.
He refuses to make any point, and he's scared to take any position, despite saying the opposite.
I don't have to be careful. There's no gray area with me.
All right.
It's black or it's white.
Stop it. Get some help.
It's clear he's afraid of hurting his image or losing clients. The few points he actually tried to make, he immediately contradicted himself. See, this is what happens when you try to be above everything. You're always going to be a hypocrite. Everyone has their opinions. Everyone has their bias. But when you're too afraid to share it, you try and pretend that you're too good. The problem with that is everyone knows you're fake. Okay, Rich, what's your favorite color? The thing with me, I don't really see colors. Like, I don't have a color. I see more like shapes. Well, not really even shapes. It's more like an abstract, like a vision. I get visions, and being one of the top agents, you have to have visions. You have to give visions. You also got to understand that not everyone's going to see your vision. The clients might not even see your vision, at least right away. But if they give you their trust, you're able to.
And that is the perfect analogy. That guy did a great job breaking down Rich Paul, because that is exactly, he cannot answer any question that you give him without trying to take you down this road of how great he is.
Analytics, because if you talk about analytics,
if you're talking about analytics, we were talking about what's the top five. Rich Paul. You're talking about Air Jordan shoes, right? Why and Jordan and LeBron shoes and all of this? Why are you wearing New Balance? This dude is rocking New Balance. Why are you rocking New Balance for? If you back LeBron and you rep LeBron, why are you rocking New Balance? On every show. Does Rich Paul have a contract with New Balance? He probably do. You don't even wear LeBron. LeBron kids is mad they can't wear Jordans. They used to rock Jordans till they got spotted rocking Jordans, and they said, hey, you got to put on my shoes. LeBron James has had his brand for 20 years. He has not one signature sign up ever. Bronny could play better if he wore his Jordans. LeBron received the compensation for his shoes. Didn't I tell you this is why you should watch this podcast show? Because it makes the most sense. No, Rich Paul is always like him arguing with Fat Joe, all this stuff. Like, dude, Rich Paul has been delusional his entire life. Let me let that sink in. His entire life, he has been nothing but a very delusional man. Well, you never want to go through all that. To be honest, you never want to do that. So what's on the menu today? Well, let me show you. That's what's going on the Patreon. We talk about the Will Smith sexual harassment case, what you need to know about that. Of course, this is what we're doing right now. And the big video with O.J. Simpson and Debo. They went head to head. Now, that video is out on the Patreon right now. And you'll see why they never got along and they don't like each other. They never liked each other. Hello. Okay, stop pranking me. Now, yep. So if you're on the Karceno for Life Patreon, go there and you see OJ versus Debo. They don't like each other. Bill Cosby with the Different World sequel. He had to sign off on that. We already did the Hollywood thing. This is what really happened to Patrick Swayze. Glasses Malone. We covered that. Of course, being a sports agent. I'll give y'all a little sample of this. What's up? What's up? What's up? Hello, are you there? 1 2 1 2. Let's get into it. Yes, there's a guy named Tony, was it Anthony Retcher, and he's a sports agent. I think is he retired now? I mean, that's not nothing to clap for. But no, when you navigate the world of being a sports agent, he would give these classes and these seminars. He would come out to the business seminars. He actually knew
health and nutritionists that work for professional athletes. He was looking to see how he could manage them first. And he went from there to representing actual athletes, going from college to working overseas. And guys were pretty much looking for someone to give them the representation to go from point A to B. And if he wasn't in a big agency firm, you don't get those guys. Because they play critical roles in their lives as far as being intermediaries with the team and everyone else, so negotiating contracts, and you're dealing with public relations. Those things specifically are very important because you get to extend beyond financial matters. On paper, that's supposed to be all you do, but that's not true. I know a sports agent, so hell, I just know his name. This man had to move Steph Curry. He had to move Steph Curry from one place to his new place because his old place was the address that a lot of fans knew where he lived and kept trying to go by Steph Curry's house, finding reasons to get on the property. Here, this is a more restricted community, so he couldn't do that. So as he got more popular, he couldn't stay in the house that he previously had before because he wasn't that popular coming into the league. So once he expanded with his fame, a lot of fans knew where Steph Curry lived and was basically sitting on the house.
Yep. So what you're actually learning is the fact that there's things agents do that they're not supposed to do, but they end up having to go above and beyond for their clients. And yes, we do lives on the Patreon. And we got secret information and secret interviews that you've never heard anywhere else. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, there's a beef. There's a beef. When you see that video, you're gonna understand. Oh yeah, there's a big beef between those two. He ain't like OJ. All the way up until they passed. And in that video, you're gonna find out why he don't like OJ. Oh yeah. Should I give y'all another treat? I feel generous today. I already let you all hear that. Y'all want to hear something exclusive on Shannon Sharp? Oh, we gonna have something real good today on the Patreon because I got receipts and I've held on to these receipts for over 10 years. I was waiting for somebody to get real stupid. And I'm like, dude, are you really serious? I'm like, okay. So we gonna get real stupid. Cool. Now, while we're here, Let y'all hear some secret. Dum 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 dum. Uh-oh. Shannon Sharp Stylist. Encino. Talking about. All right. We are back.
With a dog collar him. It's just not what I do. It's just not what I do. I don't do that. I've never really been into replaying movies like Roots and Color Purple. It's just not what I do over here. No. So, just let them know Hollywood has absolutely nothing to do with anything that's going on. I'm doing me, and I'm going to let him handle that. Because to me, that's rich people problem. So, yeah. I ain't got nothing to do with that, but thank you so much for reaching out and just keeping me, afloat of what's going on. But yeah, all of my celebrity friends is definitely keeping me in the game, and his friends as well. So have a great day, and I will I think he's here, cousin or whatnot. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hasn't even came out. I definitely wouldn't worry about them. It's crazy because I actually been asked to go back, and I'm like, no. But it's obvious that his accounts, his pockets ain't what it used to be by far. But they're crazy. They're crazy. I have moved completely on doing way.
So, in case they thought I was lying. Now, people think because I haven't killed him, I don't have anything. I'm just a very nice individual. And I don't have a reason to kill you until you give me one. And they decided to give me a reason. So I had to go into the vault. And I said, oh, okay. So Shane Mosley, Sugar Shane Mosley, decided that it was going to be in his best interest to go against me on some things. And I tried to warn him before. So September 2nd of 2015, buddy. When I tried to warn you that your so-called wife was trying to holler at me before, I tried to tell you, Shane, your wife was trying to holler at me, that you need to check your wife. I tried to tell you. Like, look, man, Shane, we cool with you, Sugar Shane Mosley. I tried my best to tell you to check this situation, dog. I tried. Now, I'm going to only do this on the Patreon, and this is going to break the internet. Okay, this is going to break everything down. I'm not putting this on YouTube. But I tried to tell you about your wife, how she was foul. I had people back 10 years ago. I tried to, this is 10 years old, dog. Me and you, we done been through the thing with your first wife. This ain't got nothing to do with Jen. Okay? This got something to do with your current situation that you was in. And I tried to warn you about marrying this girl. He's saying cap. I know you saying cap, but it's not cap when Cino has the receipts. You see, it's easy to yell that until somebody pop up with receipts. So, just to let you know, I'm not bluffing, buddy. We gonna get to it. We gonna get to it. Now, I hate to be the guy to say I told you so. Nah, I like to be the guy to say I told you so. So when we say we got receipts, oh, we got receipts. And then some. So back 10 years ago, I said, well, let me go and get everything I need to know on this person because I don't trust her. So Karceno did his due diligence, did his homework, and did it well. And you're going to find out it's everything you need to know. All the arrest records, all the court documents, your wife. I got it all. Her real name, that's a fake name that she's using. And she was taking all your money. I tried to warn you, boy. And now you finna get the whole smear. I told y'all not to play with me. So now I told you I got the receipts. I'm not somebody that you should want to mess with. So only on the Patreon when we go there. I told you 10 years ago, and now you right back telling the same lies. I don't want to do with this stuff and won't do it on YouTube. I told you, it's not happening. But I was definitely genuinely honest because I am an honest person. So I told you to look out and be careful. Do not get yourself caught in this situation. We tried to help you 10 years ago. We were helping you. But you didn't want to listen and you took her side. And now I'm the bad person when I've done absolutely nothing to you. I mean, nothing. I've had this information for 10 years. 10 years. Put in the vault. That's how much respect we have for you. Why would I need to cap about that? I told you I wouldn't trust this girl. And I tried to tell you as a friend would tell to another friend. And all of the conversations me and you've had, I tried to help you the whole time through. When you were going on your big, bold, beautiful journey, I said, I don't know what's going on with you. You've changed. But this isn't the way you want to go. This is not the energy you want to have. So when you've been taking shots at me with the sports media and all that crap, I'm like, why is he mad at me? You're mad because your first ex-wife, Jen, me and her still cool. I don't have a problem with Jen. But here's the thing is that you had Jen's family doing all your business, even when y'all were divorced, because she handled all your business. She told you all of this was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen. And I'm like, I don't know what you're doing right now, but this is probably not going to go bad. Go good for you. So, yeah. So I'll see y'all on the Patreon for that. All right. I'm out.